Live from Atlanta Motor Speedway, it is time once again to go racing here for the Monster 250. It is a brand new season in the iRacing Stock Car Association Tucson Sounder Cup Series, and we are getting set for what could be a very, very exciting season opener here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. My name is Nolan Rempel. I've got Alfonso Nixon beside me in the broadcast booth with Rob Melnick down behind the cameras for tonight's presentation. So, Al, we get set to enter yet another phenomenal race here tonight. What's your take as we go around this 1.6-mile speedway?
Well, my take, Nolan, as we get set to go racing, it's a little bittersweet. It's sweet in the fact that we get a chance to see these next-gen low downforce, high horsepower cars on this Atlanta track, but it's kind of bitter because this will be the last time that we'll actually be at this configuration of Atlanta. So, although it'll be a little bumpy tonight for the ride, but I think it's just going to be an exciting race, and we'll just get to see this thing go away peacefully and quietly.
Fingers crossed it'll be a clean race. There was quite a bit of action, shall we say, over in the butt kicker race just 3 nights ago. It was a very, very unique race, and we'll see if it'll hopefully be a slightly cleaner run here tonight. Qualifying is presently underway. This is, of course, the opening race of what will be another 12-race season as normal. You've got yourself Atlanta, followed by Coda, Richmond, Martinsville, Bristol, Dega, Dover, Darlington, Kansas, Texas, Charlotte, the Worldwide Technology Raceway, and Sonoma for the ending of the season. A lot of very, very exciting tracks and a lot of wild card tracks, I guess as you could say, coming on up for us in the next few weeks here then, right, Al?
Yeah, definitely, and it's going to be a little something for everybody, you know, little dirt track racing, little short track racing, couple of super speedways, all very exciting as we get qualifying comes here slowly to a close. Hopefully we'll have ourselves a great race here tonight, though, and just to be a little bit of a sample of what's left to come remaining of this here season.
So it should be an absolutely exciting race for us then here tonight, as qualifying is just about to get itself all wrapped up. Tell you what, why don't we take a quick step away? We'll listen in for the national anthem. We'll be back with more on tonight's race, as well as your starting grid in just a few minutes.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Driver, start your engine! So as we get set to go racing for the Monster Energy 250 from race 1 of the ISCA Tucson Sounder Cup Series, it is time for the starting grid of tonight's race. Ryan Strunk is on pole position with Brooks Durden beside him on the front row. Kenny Powell is in third with Greg Wyszynski down in fourth. Josh Schaffner will be in fifth place with Joseph Causey in sixth. Chris Severa is seventh place with Don Avery in eighth on row number 4. Row 5 holds John Mullins and Kenny Thompson out.
Yeah, row 11 is Justin Levine and Al Kozlowski. We got Gary Adamson in 13th with Kyle Green in 14th. Austin Derbyshire makes his debut in 15th with Robert Pattengill, rounding out the 16-car field.
So when we get set to enter race like Atlanta, excuse me, had a bit of a frog in my throat there for a hot minute. It can be a very difficult track. Atlanta, of course, is one of the more difficult ovals that we'll be going to when it comes to the mile-and-a-half scale, right? It is very, very bumpy, one of the oldest track surfaces of any oval, really, on the surface at the moment. So you have to imagine that that could provide a very unique challenge. Getting loose off of turn 2 was a very huge problem for drivers in the Thursday race. You reckon we'll be seeing a lot of that here tonight as well?
Yeah, definitely. As we say every week, throttle control and throttle management is going to be key to getting around this track unscathed, because drivers are going to have to maintain a very, very sharp mental focus if they're going to be able to make it around this track round and around, time and time again, without actually bumping into each other or just, contacting that outside wall.
Contacting the outside wall is definitely going to be something that a lot of drivers are going to be looking to do. They're going to want to take that wall off of their contact list, right? Just block the old turn 2 phone number in their books here. So here's at hoping that we'll be seeing as few drivers rebounding off of those walls as possible for the course of the night as the field gets set to roll off here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. It should be a very unique race for us here tonight. I believe it was Chris Severa, wasn't it, that was the defending champion coming into tonight's race. So Severa could be looking to get a solid points day for himself, but he is starting in the mid-pack. A bit of a concern considering his qualifying time, 7/10 off of the pole time.
Yeah, but you're really not safe anywhere unless you probably say that first car out in that clean air, Nolan. So Severa's going to have to just bide his time and be patient, because he's got a lot of key names around him. And I think if these guys, don't disappoint like they usually do not, I think this is going to be an exciting race for us. I'm just, happy to see where a lot of these guys are going to be at in the running for this thing. But, also, who's going to be making the biggest dives as we once again start this season? So those stage points are going to come into play. You want to get as many as you can as early as you can, Nolan, because the one thing that you really don't want to be doing is you don't want DNFs, you don't want to have your car all tore up, and you don't want to be playing catch up as we get halfway through this thing in the season.
Stages will be at the end of laps 30 and 65, as per usual when it comes to these mile-and-a-half races. The stages are about 30 laps apiece in length. We're expecting about 31 laps, though, on the second stage. That is what it was when you got around to the second stage over in the Thursday night race. 6 tire sets. Field window going to be about having to pit about halfway through that third and final stage. As the field gets set to come around through 3 and 4 here, Al, who's your pick to win tonight's Monster Energy 250?
Nolan, you're not going to get me into this. I'm going to defer my option until the third stage. So I'm not even going to pick anybody. I'm just going to sit here on my hands and keep my mouth shut and watch this race. Are you going to be willing to go out on the edge here and pick a contender?
We'll see how things are looking. I'll say that much at the end of the first stage, and then I'll have my pick by then. Green flag is out for the Monster Energy 250 from Atlanta. Ryan Strong gets set to lead the field to 1, but Brooks Durden already looking to get the drop on him from the outside line.
Yeah, 2 guys that we're not used to seeing being out front. They were Struck and Durden, but then hopefully they're going to go ahead and lead this thing away, as these two are definitely no strangers to racing with each other. Looks like we're going to get this first lap going to be put in the books here. Caution free. I think that's what we've been looking for.
And still side by side for the race lead as Ryan Strunk comes across to lead the opening lap. But Brooks Durden still looking to power around the outside line. That high lane really came into play big time early on. The rods, contact for the lead, and they're both into the outside wall. Caution is out on just the second lap of the race. And your top 2 qualifying on the front row, taking each other out of the race on just the second lap.
Yeah, not what you want to see, not this early on. At least give those tires a chance to get up to operating temp. But these guys right here, looks like that 99 car just kind of went right into the back end of that 77. Don't think it was intentional, but yeah, they're still going to leave a little bit of a mark on those cars there, Nolan.
A big wreck then to start off stage number 2, and almost looks like Durden was starting to get loose on his own. Is that just me? Because it looks like the back end was already starting to come around on him.
Yeah, you gotta have that, like you were saying, throttle control. Looks like Chris Severa even got caught up in that a little bit, but that's just unfortunate because it's way too early to actually be racing that hard for the lead. And I'm not saying they were racing too hard. I'm just saying that like you gotta give a lot more than you take early on in these races because no one wants to get caught up in that.
Man, oh man. Not the way we wanted to start this race off. It was a clean opening lap, but not so much other than that. Brooks Dirty, not surprisingly, into pit road, but so is Kyle Green. I find this a bit interesting. Kyle Green, Austin Derbyshire, an ISCA rookie, by the way. First start for Derbyshire today. Didn't set a qualifying lap. Into pit road along with the 2 damaged cars. Now, Derbyshire does have damage on his machine. Kyle Green does not, though. I find this very interesting that we're seeing Kyle Green come into pit road on just the second lap of the race here.
Yeah, maybe he just wants to adjust his position, pretty racy up front. So not really sure what's going on, but I mean, we just have to sit and watch how that one unfolds, man. But a lot of cars involved in that early on incident there. We'll try to get you guys a list of everyone that was actually involved as this thing continues to go on. Looks like Chris Severa's even still on pit road.
Yeah, Chris Severa is still in pit road as well. Yeah, you are correct. Severa is indeed on pit road, and that is unsurprising considering he took a big brunt of the force when actually there's a secondary incident in terms of all of that. Don Avery and Severa got into it, and that pushed Severa up into the outside wall in the big way. So that's why Severa is down on pit road with a bunch of damage. That was taking place, I say this quite literally, at the exact same time that the wreck between Strung and your 2 race leaders were having with each other. So that is unfortunate for Severa. Defending champion, not off to a solid start. His day is going to be done. He's retired. He has retired the car.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Those old meatball flags come out there and get you. Not what Severa was wanting, not the way our contending champion probably wanted to start his day or spend his evening. But that's going to give us a couple brand new guys up front. Once again, we got Kenny Powell's going to be our race leader with Greg Wachinski on the outside there, Nolan. So this is going to be interesting restart, to say the least.
Could it be as interesting as the restart we had just before? Let's hope it is, just minus the spin 1 lap in. Already, we're down 3 serious contenders in this one. Your top 2 with heavy damage and Chris Severa still down in pit road, and now 1 going to be 2 laps down as well. So Kenny Powell going to be leading the way with Rodzinski in second place, making it a G&G 1-2. Let's get set to take us back to green flag racing here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Out of turn number 4, the G&J Toyota Camry, headed up by Kenny Powell, going to be leading us back to the restart.
Yep, going to be interesting to see if Powell's going to rest on his haunches or he's going to try to get a good solid lead, and he is going to take that launch here. Powell getting a solid restart now, got that 24 car in the win as well as in the lead, but he's being followed closely by that first-time racer there, Joseph Causey from the Mid-South.
Side by side for third on back, Schaffner, Wachinski, Levine, Avery, Mullins, all under a blanket of the battle for third on back to 7th place. Wachinski, though, backing out a ton. Well, I don't know if Wachinski just doesn't want to have anything to do with this, or he's got a problem, because Schaffner, Levine, and Avery all pass him up at the same time. And now John Mullins looks set to blitz past him as well. So Greg Wachinski really falling back in a hurry. And on top of it all, looks like Gary Adamson has had a big wreck on the front straightaway. We should probably see if we can't get a replay of that one. It was lap number 6, the 36, going around the Monster Energy 36 Mustang. There you saw it right there. Just got tipped around by the number 31 of Brooks Dirty to send him around. And how this was not a caution now, I have no idea. You'll see the contact being made, and Adamson parked it on the racing line. And that was no caution, according to iRacing. What do you think about that one? Because that's been a problem I've been noticing cropping up a bit more in a lot of leagues, right? The cautions haven't necessarily been thrown where you would expect them to. It seems like we got some technical difficulties with Alfonso Nixon, so we'll hopefully get him back up and running here in just a few moments. But you still see the battles developing up and down all the way throughout the racetrack. Schaffner and Kazi working together, trying to fight up for second place. And there's the fight between Al Kozlowski and Kenny Thompson. That's the battle for 8th place on the racetrack. Kozlowski just took that one low side out of turn number 4. But Kenny Thompson still looking to rip the high side in his Ultra Wings 2 number 22 Toyota Camry. Tom's going to tuck in line for 8th. Al Kozlowski starting to see if he can't run down Greg Wyszynski for 7th. "20 laps to go in stage number 2. Kenny Powell still heads up the way, but he has got Joseph Causey right behind him. The Abruzzi number 88 Mustang looking set to make a charge at the race lead, and Josh Schaffner in his Plenish number 50 Chevrolet also wanting to get in on the action as well. Brooks Durding becomes the first official driver to retire his car on the night. Chris Rivera still technically in his car sitting on pit road, with Brooks Durding disconnecting from the session. Schaffner continues to try to look around on Joseph Causey, while Kenny Powell still leads the way. The top 3 separated by just a quarter of a second. Justin Levine starting to fall back a little bit as well. Schaffner pushing up to the top shelf, but he gets a big moment getting loose out of turn number 4. Schaffner, of course, looking for redemption here at Atlanta. He won the opening stage of the Butt Kicker Cup Series race, then fell all the way towards the tail end of the field after spinning out not once but twice, and that ended his race. Looking to see if he can't go for a potential race win here tonight as well. And Causey, I think, being a little bit more patient here, trying to see if he can't make something work. Going to go 3 wide for the lead, maybe. Not quite. Causey going to back out and cut off Schaffner at the same time.
Yeah, Schaffner, no doubt, definitely trying to feel out Causey as this guy is new to the series. So he's going to sit back behind him just a little bit, poke and prod, but definitely you can believe if anybody's going to be trying to get to the front, it's going to be Schaffner. Sorry about that. I had a little technical difficulties, Nolan.
All good on that one, Al. Glad to have you back with us up in the booth as Causey makes the move inside of turn 1. And the number 88 Mustang going to go for the race lead. Pushes up. Powell going to be trying to counter the slide job with the crossover down the back straightaway. And Powell going to go back to the point as they hit turn number 3. And it'll be a drag race out of turn 4 to see who can lead this latest lap on the line, but I think it will be Joseph Causey to lead one of his first laps ever in his ISCA career.
Yeah, that's got to be definitely exhilarating and exciting for that team, being their first show in the ISCA and actually being able to not just come out here and turn a couple laps, but to actually lead a couple, Nolan. That's awesome.
Absolutely incredible scenes here by Joseph Causey. Kenny Powell starting to slip back. I think Powell's used all of his stuff up. Levine looking high, the former ISCA champion, trying to find a path through. Josh Schaffner looking a little bit more antsy as well in his Plenish Chevrolet. And Schaffner's going to make the dive to the inside and try to get around Levine.
It's definitely going to be no shortage of side-by-side action-packed racing with names like Schaffner and Levine, and now looks like Causey's another name to add to the mix. These guys are really literally battling it out as we come to 4 to go here and remaining in this stage. So that means pit road's going to be closing in 2. Anybody's race. Causey still showing the way. Powell definitely going to be wanting to get a little closer. They're not going to want him to run away. And Schaffner now looking like he's going to make that 50 car stick to that inside line, and he's going to try to make sure that he gets up in the action a little bit as well.
And Levine going to go up and underneath Kenny Powell to pick up second place. And it looks like the Checkerworks number 33 Ford Mustang is on a charge at the moment, trying to make a run at the race lead. It's a pair of Fords to lead the way as we enter the second half of stage number 1. Joseph Causey still hanging strong. Oh, Levine pushing it up the hill, though, almost into the outside wall. I think he only cost himself to Causey at that time by through 2.
Yeah, these guys are definitely being able to figure out how these cars are handling, especially these tires now. Having just about maybe 18, 19 laps on them as pit road is closed, and we're bringing the end of this stage one to a close. We're going to see if Powell actually has a little bit left to be able to close the gap now, but it looks like Causey and Justin Levine are just going to run away for this thing.
Levine's got to run out of turn number 2 and is going to give a bumper to the 14 car down the back straightaway. So Levine opting not to go for the pass, instead giving a bit of a booster to Causey all the way through 3 and 4. This is quite the race we're seeing starting to develop in the battle for the race lead. As I say that, Chris Severa is making his way back out onto the racetrack now. So Severa not down and out just yet, and he hopes that maybe he can pick up a couple of more spots from maybe going for some positions as drivers drop out, potentially due to wrecks or technical difficulties. We'll see how that plays out later on in tonight's event. But it's looking to be a pretty smooth sailing end to the opening stage already here from Atlanta.
Yeah, and Joseph Causey just now, all he has to do is just hold this thing where he's got it, keeps his mouth the right way as he comes off of turn 4. Looks like he is going to be our stage 1 winner.
And Levine going to continue to work on Joseph Causey here. Looking low this time. Does he think about going for the lead? Gets on the throttle, but decides against it. I have a feeling that Levine is more wanting to fill Causey's mirrors at the moment, trying to let him know, I am here, and he can absolutely go for that move anytime he wants, but he's not being aggressive, right? He's being patient. He's setting it up. Exactly what you need to do at a track like Atlanta, which is notoriously one of the most difficult tracks to overtake on the IRC service.
Yeah, definitely it is. It seems like it's a very wide racing surface, but it is a very bumpy track, and drivers have to be cognizant of that because just when you least expect it, you could just find yourself going for a ride. But speaking of going for a ride, Causey still, sorry about that, I was off on my stages. I don't know why I was thinking it was ending at 20, but my apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. I think my technical difficulties reset my brain.
I think we've all had days like that, right, where we just can't find the words. I remember having events like that where I couldn't even remember how many cars were on the reverse grid, despite reading them off of the reverse grid starting order list.
Yeah, well, so hopefully I'll be able to beat myself into the race, to the remainder of the race action as this thing continues to go on for us. Just really, really good news with the guys up front. Like I said, with Causey and Levine, Causey being new and Levine actually coming back, it's just great to see these new faces up front for a change.
And the caution flag is out on the speedway. A crash in turn number 1. Kenny Thompson going around. And there you saw it, just got loose all by himself into the corner, got loose, entered or overcorrected when he hit the apron, got up to the outside wall. And this isn't the end of the stage, remember, because there was still 6 laps to go. So we are going to be having ourselves one more run before the stage concludes.
Yeah, he took a nice shot there with that outside wall a couple of times. Probably going to find himself sitting on pit road for a couple of laps here trying to get that damage fixed. Just an unfortunate event, but, you know, like we said, this is just one of those tracks where there's no rhyme or reason. You know, as he was, like, tucked in right behind that 77, and it just kind of snapped away on him.
And, well, as we are now under caution for the second time tonight, pit stop is going to be underway. Joseph Causey, Levine, and Powell making a late dive back out. Drivers in behind, Wachinski, Mullins, Severa, Derbyshire, Strunk, Green, and Thompson all coming into pit road. I have to say, Al, I'm honestly a bit of a fan of this decision. Come in now, and you'll cycle through to be putting yourself in the top spots for the start of stage 2.
Yeah, but you're going to miss out on those very valuable stage points. I mean, and you're not going to find an opportunity to pick up 10 points or 5 points or whatever on pit road. So I don't know. I kind of think I agree with Powell on that one.
And now Kenny Thompson, John Mullins is the winner of the race off of pit road. This is going to be a bit interesting here to see how this race could all play out. And unfortunately, actually, I'm getting word that Kyle Green has been in the collision on pit road here, Al. So sounds like Green turned it into his pit box, and Kenny Thompson rear-ended them while turning it in for his own box. Didn't send Green into the wall, thank goodness. He kept it out of the wall, but he's got pretty substantial damage on the back end now.
Yeah, you know, you go on pit road, and to those of us that are non-racers, you know, you think it's a safe space, but it's really not. A lot of things going on. You got to get into pit road on the dime, and you kind of got to enter your pit box. You're not safe until you're actually in the box. The rest of that pit road is a contact zone. Those other two, the primary and the secondary lane. So, you know, no one wants to tear their stuff up, especially under caution. But now this is going to be interesting because we got a little interesting mix into the, you know, just got a couple guys on fresh rubber. So we're going to see how they're going to play into this. Are they going to be patient, or are they going to try to battle back and get back up in the lead?
So will this be green flag this time, Vi, or will we get one more under the caution period? That's really going to determine if this is going to be it's going to be a 2-lap dash regardless, right? Caution will come out again on lap number 30. Do they make it back for both laps though?
Yeah, right. The lights are still on the pace car, so.
So Kenny Powell is going to be leading the way, and do you think he'll be able to make it to the end of stage 1 and win this, or do you think Josh Schaffner may have a hand or two to say in that?
Well, I would like to think that Schaffner and Powell wouldn't actually intentionally or unintentionally take each other out. So hopefully they will race hard but yet respectful. But I don't know. I mean, when it comes down to it, it's a stage win's a stage win. I don't see either one of these two yielding to the other, if that's what you're asking. And you know, plus you got Keselowski and Avery right behind him, so you know you don't really have the time to play nice guy. You just kind of got to put the hammer down and go for it, Nolan.
Both of these drivers are drivers that know how to really race respectfully with one another. They're both quick, but they can both be very aggressive as well. So we'll see if Kenny Powell is capable of holding off that Plentis Chevrolet on his outside. It could be a bit of a difficult task because we know how Schaffner be, and he can be pretty quick on these restarts. He knows how to get the drop on people. We've seen it time and time again, and we'll see if he'll do so as well here from Georgia. So we get set to come around for a 2-lap dash to end the second stage, or the first stage on the night.
Powell's not going to want to waste any time taking that green flag and trying to get the best launch that he can as he takes the green flag. Looks like Avery sidesteps it a little bit, gets out of control. That's going to back up that inside line, which is going to allow Powell the opportunity to go, baby, go. We got Josh Schaffner now trying to close the door on Powell, but I think Powell right now is into that fresh air. Nolan looks like he's going to be able to put this thing on down.
Kenny Powell leads the way down in the turn number 3. Josh Schaffner trying to close up onto the back end. And it's coming around for the final lap in stage number 1. Schaffner trying to close.
Schaffner closing, but he's still got Levine on his back door, so he just can't just focus too much on Powell. He still has to protect for his position, as he's not going to try to get that 5-0 on the inside line, try to get himself a run off Powell, but he's still going to have to close that door, as Levine now is going to be challenging for that second place position.
And going to try to go for the race lead as well into turn number 3. Tried for the inside, but he couldn't get a good enough run. Look at the power up at the 33. Out of turn 4. It's a drag race for the stage 1 win. Levine going to get him right at the line. What a race there.
Oh my God, Nolan! If you talk about a photo finish for a stage right there, right? Wow, that's what we came to see right there. Great racing, great finish. Looks like that's going to put Justin Levine as your stage 1 winner with Kenny Powell in second. Josh Schaffner third place. Greg Wachinski's going to be in fourth. Al Koslowski fifth. Ryan Strunk sixth. Austin Darbyshire seventh. Don Avery in eighth. Joseph Causey in ninth. And John Mullins is going to round out your top 10 points positions. We're going to go ahead and step away now and take a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back after this word.
There are moments that surprise and delight the mind and the senses. Introducing Sound Art, the world's first truly customizable, concealed, flat panel art speaker system. A revolutionary combination of incredible sound delivered from your most meaningful pictures. When art and technology intersect, there is a seamless blend of creativity and function.
Humble air in the streetlight, pulling at the stars in the moonlight. Every time I feel you close.
With Sound Art, anyone can print their own artwork or pick from numerous licensed artwork that we have. The possibilities are limitless. Enjoy beautiful and amazing sound throughout your home. The entire surface of your artwork generates incredibly robust sound. Your art never sounded so good.
We are back at Atlanta Motor Speedway after what was just an absolutely phenomenal opening stage here from the Monster 250 at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the ISCA Tucson Sound Art Cup Series. 19 thousandths. The margin of victory that Levine got that stage 1 win by, taking it out of turn number 4. What a way to open up the race and the season on a high here, Al.
Absolutely. I mean, you could not have asked for a better stage on this season start. Unfortunately, we had a couple guys that kind of met the business end of that concrete retaining wall, but, you know, it's about resiliency. So we'll see how these guys are actually able to bounce back, capitalize, get themselves situated and ready to go for stage 2, Nolan.
Getting ourselves up and ready to go. And lights are still on top of the pace car, so we are going to see if we can't potentially dial up your stage 1 winner. Justin Levine joins us up in the booth. And Justin, how about that for a stage 1 win? 19th foul, but you've just decked yourself an extra 10 bonus points already to kick off the season.
Oh, that was so much fun. I didn't think I was going to get there in time, especially with him blocking low there. Just with the old tires, it plowed him off the corner, and I was able to just sneak in there.
So it seems like tires are going to be a really big factor for you guys here tonight. Is that going to be the name of the game then? Take tires at every possible opportunity?
100%. You definitely still have to pay attention and keep in mind that we only got 4 more sets after using this one. So it basically, whoever has the freshest tire just always has an advantage. So with the stage being involved, I felt like that's exactly what I needed to do to get the stage win, and it worked out perfectly.
There's only 2 laps that you got fresh tires on there at the moment, but do you think that'll be enough that you might be a little bit concerned about the field behind you at the moment?
Seeing how many cars I have in between me, I'm definitely a bit concerned. 2 laps is definitely huge at Atlanta. For some reason, this track surface just eats tires like they're going out of style. So I'm going to do everything I can not to wreck the car, but hopefully I still have enough speed to stay up front.
Before I let you go then here, Justin, anybody you'd like to shout out for that frontline Mustang?
Everyone back at Frontline, all the hard work they do. This is one of my favorite cars that we built this year, and we're right out front.
And Thank you, Justin, for taking the time to join us in the broadcast booth. Congratulations on a Stage 1 win. Best of luck in Stage 2.
Thank you.
How's Frontline's Justin Levine join us up here in the broadcast booth. Former Saturday night and Thursday night champion, as well as Butt Kicker Super Cup, former Super Cup Series champion as well. So it could be an interesting run then for Justin Levine here as we get set to go green flag racing in stage number 2. And actually, as we get set to go racing for stage number 2, why don't we take a ride on board here with Josh Schaffner. We'll give you a sound of what it looks like for a restart in one of these Cup Series cars. Battle is on for the 5th position. Don Avery and Kenny Powell looking to go at it here as you ender down through turns 1 and 2, as well as that Josh Schaffner just getting past Ryan Strong. You're riding on board with Schaffner for the opening couple of laps in this stage. And Joseph Causey, ultra Frontline, now looking to thunder into turn number 3. He's trying to close up on Don Avery. Avery, though, bobbling slightly in his number 11 Sousa Media Camry. Causey looking for the inside through the D-Oval.
Yeah, Avery definitely has his hands full. I mean, right about the time that he got Kenny Powell off his back, along comes Causey. So he's not actually been able to get comfortable with, if you will, and get his focus on. He's just been trying to fight for that position, and these guys are relentless out here. That's Powell now going to go ahead and continue his march. Now he finds himself securely in that 7th position. Well, actually, he's going to be in that 6th position here as we continue green flag racing in stage 2. Schaffner probably didn't get as good of a launch there as maybe he wanted, but he's definitely got himself in a great position. So all he's got to do is just kind of sit back, watch what's going on, and save his tires. Because as we saw at the end of that last stage, tire wear here, and we actually heard it from Levine, tire wear here is definitely going to be a big issue. So I kind of second guess that pit stop, but that's why I'm up in the booth. And he gambled, took the fresh tires, and walked away with that stage win.
And now Josh Schaffner looking to challenge for the race lead, and Schaffner going to be side by side out of turn number 2, down the back straightaway, forced to tuck back in line. It is really, really close, though, in this fight for the overall race lead. Levine trying to pinch him in, but now it seems like he's the one that is on the back foot, as he's the one that is now starting to plow tight out of these corners, and Josh Schaffner not having a decent time himself on trying to get by. So it seems like it is, as Levine said, it is a very difficult run for all these drivers out there in the field. Joseph Causey got up into the outside wall, this time by out of the quad oval, and backed his car up into the likes of Ryan Strong, but there was no caution. We're going to keep it green. Schaffner, once again, looks low in a 3 and 4. No move being made there, though. Joseph Causey side by side with Powell through turn number 4.
Yeah, and I think what Causey actually experienced was just what Levine said. You know, when his tires kind of get to get a little warned, that car does have a chance to kind of dump truck as it plows and pushes way up on that racing surface. As you see, Causey still having to deal with that just a little bit. Now, the difference is later on in the stage, some drivers are going to start to run that high line. I don't know if that's what Causey actually was trying to do, but him making that contact with the wall is going to have an adverse effect on that car at some point, Dolan.
You see Schaffner now with the run out of turn number 4, going at it with Levine as they cross start finish. Levine still holds the lead, but Schaffner's wanted to say not for long. He goes to the inside of turn number 1. Is it enough to clear, though? Out of turn 2, yes it is! Schaffner pushes up. Levine says not so fast. He immediately crosses him over to the inside line, and Levine's back through to the point, but now he's going to slide up, and Schaffner is going to look to steal the lead right back, and this is the type of racing that I love to see, y'all, switching and swapping around every single lap between these various drivers.
Yeah, every time that crossover move's executed to perfection, I can only hear those tires just screaming, "Papa, stop!" But simultaneously, as Levine and Schaffner were going for that lead change, Kenny Powell made his move as well. Now he has himself up in that fourth position.
And you saw Josh Schaffner really getting tight with Levine there that time by through turns 3 and 4. And Schaffner going to continue to have to battle this one out. There is 19 laps left to go in stage number 2. Schaffner cuts back down low. He'll be able to cross out. Oh, Levine's got the nose in. And Josh Schaffner can't get clear. Oh, Causey spins out of turn number 4 and somehow wrestles that car back under control before he can slam into the inside wall.
And that battle for the lead still continues with Levine and Schaffner not giving each other any room. Well, what they have done is now they have allowed for Wachinski to actually get himself into that frame to be a part of that conversation. As eventually, Nolan, we're going to see a 3-wide battle for the lead. Now, Powell's also closing in. So, obviously, this is not what Levine probably had in mind, to be battling Josh Schaffner for as long as he was in this stage, because you know that's got to be detrimental on the tires. But the battle was everywhere around the track, so I don't think anybody's going to be spared from that, and we're just going to have to see how these guys can handle these cars with a little degradation in tire wear.
And I like what Levine is doing. He's keeping that car planted on the outside line because he knows that while Schaffner might be sure to take the shorter line on the inside, it is not the faster one anymore. He is definitely quicker on the high side because he can get the momentum off of these corners. And on top of that, doesn't burn up as much tires either. Levine is doing exactly what he needs to do to keep himself in the race lead. You saw Kenny Powell also make the swap for third place with his teammate Greg Wachinski.
Yeah, Roger, you're absolutely right. Levine is making that top line work directly for him. But it's interesting to see that Schaffner still wants to keep fighting down to the bottom. So maybe that's just showing that Schaffner might have a little bit fresher tires than Levine because he's actually able to keep that car down there on that line. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out here in the next 5 laps or so. But Powell now making himself a little bit of a nuisance, if you will, to Schaffner, because he's going to keep trying to stick his nose in there. And Nolan, that's just not fun. You know, you just want people to get away and just let you have some space so you can make a mistake.
And now you can see Kenny Powell trying to threaten Josh Schaffner now for the second position as well. That's what Levine wants to see because it is allowing for him to start to break away from this group just a little bit more, right? And now he's pulled about a quarter of a second gap up on the field, and that is starting to grow. So Levine is, again, doing what he has to do. He's keeping that car planted. He's keeping that car exactly where it's at and trying to push around the outside line. Schaffner with a little bit of a bobble that time by through turn 2. And now has to defend against 2 different lines behind him.
Yeah, that's another thing that's actually working out for Levine, too, because he's not actually leaving a whole lot of draft or room for Schaffner, as you will, because he's actually running a higher line. So, you know, as this does play out now, does Powell kind of tuck in more behind Levine and get a run on Schaffner? Is Schaffner going to continue to block Powell? I mean, this has got the making of some great racing, but unfortunately we got 3 teammates right up here to mix it in.
Wachinski to the bottom of Kenny Powell, trying to make the move for third. But again, just has to back out, has no momentum down the inside. Powell, oh, never mind. Powell not going to have a good run. I thought he was going to get one up here on Josh Schaffner, but instead, Schaffner pushes down, and he'll be able to double down with that second position and hang on just a little bit longer through 1 and 2. And he's once again caught up to Justin Levine.
Yeah, now these we've gone through. We're actually through that cycle of the tires now. They're already kind of heated up. They've come in, and this is a time where they're kind of going to go away a little bit, and you hope they don't go away too far too quick. But these guys still showing some awesome lap times. You know, they're about 2 seconds off of their best, but you know that's just the degradation. And these guys up front have been battling nonstop, Nolan, as they're going to actually have some lap traffic come up into their frame. I think that's going to be Robert Pattengill. So that's going to make it a little bit interesting to see if Pattengill actually goes low or which one of these guys is going to try to use him for a pick. But I don't think everybody's going to get through there just as clean as they would like.
And now you can see these battles continuing to only grow a little bit more tougher, as now it's 10 to go in stage 2. And Pattengill, you mentioned him being caught rapidly by the field. Of course, Pattengill went down a lap in the second stage as well in the Thursday race. But despite there being, a 20-car field and he was down a lap, he fought back to finish in 9th place just because the field had wrecked themselves out almost entirely by the end of that race as well. We'll see if that trend could continue today or if Pattengill this time might find himself a little bit further down than he was in the Buck Kicker Cup Series race.
It was awesome of him to actually yield to the leaders like he did, completely getting off the racing surface, because he didn't have to. He was well within his rights to continue to run his line, but that just shows you the sportsmanship that we come into contact with here in these Thursday and Saturday leagues.
And now, Schaffner has Wachinski on the inside line. Wachinski pushing up. Keeps out of Schaffner, though, and Schaffner will have the outside lane, and this is where it could get interesting. Wachinski back to third. Powell trying to hunt down Levine for first, and Levine once again running the Larson line, running as far but the track as he can. Whoa, Powell way high and into the outside wall. That causes both Wachinski and Schaffner to scramble.
Yeah, that's also going to actually, slow Powell back just a little bit. There's no way you're going to hit that wall and not lose, some momentum. But he's actually still looks like he's able to hold on to that position. But Wachinski now going to go ahead and make that move on the inside. Powell's going to be, looks like he's going to be pushed to the outside. Schaffner also trying to come in and capitalize on that. But will he have enough to do it, Nolan? I don't think so. Powell now getting that 2-4 guys and go back under control, actually getting that run back that he needs to try to put some more pressure back on Wachinski. But meanwhile, this is just letting Justin Levine just kind of get more breathing room and clean air, and that's definitely got to be good for his motivation at this point in the stage.
And Levine starting to, I think, lose a little bit of pace. I think the fact that he's on those 2-lap older tires, you wouldn't think it would mean all that much, but Levine said to himself, that can be a real game changer. And it looks like that is continuing to hamper him. He keeps pulling out these gaps, but they just get reeled back in so quickly. See that last lap by Wachinski was a good bit faster than Levine, and we'll see what it's like this time around. And again, 2/10 quicker for Greg Wachinski, who continues to try to work his way. It looks like the Kenny Powell and Josh out behind, they was like, all right, we've had enough time trying to go for the race lead. Let's see what you got in you.
Yeah, and Wachinski actually putting down the fastest lap time of that last lap, so he does have a little bit left, and he is actually closing that gap on Levine. So, this thing isn't over as we're coming to, 4 to go in the stage, or 3 to go in the stage?
Wachinski going to continue to have to work with it. Powell and Schaub to start to draw back. I think they just burned all their stuff up. Wachinski, though, he's been saving, and he's trying to make a run on Levine for the bottom. But the number 5 car, once again, struggling to overtake. You can go and dive it in as much as you want on corner entry. It's not going to mean anything, though, if you can't put it together on corner exit as well.
Yeah, and I just hope if Wojcinski does catch Levine, these two can actually get bodies that are a little bit cleaner than they did last Saturday. If I remember correctly, those both of those two cars kind of beat up a little bit. But Wojcinski's definitely, if ever in a spot to have a chance for a stage win, he actually has it right now. But it looks like Levine's going to do everything in his power, even though his tires are 2 laps older, to stave off the remainder of those G&G guys on their assault attempt.
Pit road is closed. 2 laps left to go in stage number 2, which has so far run caution-free. Levine still leads the way with Wojcinski second, Powell third, Shovner hanging on just behind in 4th. And it is looking more and more like Levine will be able to go back-to-back on win both stages on the night.
If ever there was a time to go, it is go time. It is past go time. So I think you're right. I think Levine just has to keep this thing running the way he can, and he will actually have a chance. But looks like Powell might have saved a little bit as he goes past Wojcinski on the inside. Schaffner also going to do the same. Like these two going to be trying to hunt down Levine as we get ready to go to the close of this second stage. Powell probably waited just a little bit too late. I don't think he's going to be able to make it happen, but he will secure that second spot. And Wojcinski looks like he's going to be able to hold on to that 3rd spot.
And one by one, drivers start to take their way across start finish. Again, another very, very excellent second stage full of just hard racing, exactly like we want to see in the ISCA. Caution's out, stage 2 is complete. We'll take another step away and be back in a few.
There are moments that surprise and delight the mind and the senses. Introducing Sound Art, the world's first truly customizable, concealed, flat panel art speaker system. A revolutionary combination of incredible sound delivered from your most meaningful pictures. When art and technology intersect, there is a seamless blend of creativity and function.
Come alive in the streetlight, pulling at the stars in the moonlight. Every time I feel you close.
With Sound Art, anyone can print their own artwork or pick from numerous licensed artwork that we have. The possibilities are limitless. Enjoy beautiful and amazing sound throughout your home. The entire surface of your artwork generates incredibly robust sound. Your art never sounded so good.
Back live at Atlanta Motor Speedway as we get set to continue our run on what has been an excellent run of racing here tonight so far for the Monster Energy 250 at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Lots of very hard battling, but lots of very fair battling as well, and boy, has it been entertaining. My name is Ola Red Bull with Alfonso Dixon beside me at the broadcast booth. Rob Meldick once again doing an excellent job behind the cameras for tonight's race. As we get set to go racing for Stage 3. Just over 90 laps left to go here then, Al.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm really curious to see how this 3rd stage is going to affect the tire wear, because we're looking like at about 30 laps on these tires, these guys are dropping off a full 2 seconds off of the pace. So now having to push that 30 to more like 45 to 50, it's going to be interesting to see how these cars actually fare.
So now that we are in our third and final stage, I have to be honest, I've been very, very pleased with Justin Levine's performance all through tonight. He has been the top driver so far all race long, led essentially all of race 2, just about. Led a good portion of stage 1. Well, actually, only led 1 lap in stage 1, but it was the 1 lap that counted, right? Right at the line.
Hold on a second, Nolan. Sorry about that. I hate to cut you off, but I just... Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. That's the reason why I'm going to pick him to be... He's my pick to win this thing. But go ahead and say what you were saying.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. He is absolutely going to be my pick to win. I mean, he's won both stages, gotten the fastest lap, and no reason why he shouldn't have a solid run throughout the rest of the night. Now, that being said, Al, the last time I had a pick to win, it was Josh Schaffner in the Thursday race. And he didn't make it 5 laps into the next stage after I picked him to win.
That was the Saturday night race, Nolan. I think that was last Saturday, wasn't it?
It was just this past Thursday too. Thursday night, he was my pick, and we said we were all rooting for him, and it didn't quite go the way I think any of us planned for it to.
Yeah, so I think maybe you're not the guy that they want leading their fan club. So maybe you should just let me have Levine, and you can maybe do some good and pick Schaffner again, and maybe he can redeem himself. I don't know, but you're going to have to break this curse, man.
So, double file, back straight away. A couple of drivers weaving around, one in the some extra heat into the tires as we get set to go back racing. It'll be lap 71 of 163 when we take the green flag. 93 laps left to go then.
So hopefully we can get as many of these 93 laps in the books under green flag as possible, because everybody loves green flag racing. Everybody loves green flag pit stops. It gives us an opportunity to develop the strategy better. The pace car is off. Looks like we're going to have Justin Levine on the inside taking us to that green flag. He's going to get a monster launch, man, and go ahead and put that 3-3 car in to win. Wasting no time to secure that lead position and take us on into the first lap of stage 3.
Levine already clear by a country mile through turn 2, and Powell's going to get around Greg Wyszynski for the 3rd position as well. Looking even further behind, Joseph Causey trying to make a run on Ryan Strong. That doesn't go anywhere, though. How about Kenny Thompson and Gary Adamson going side by side for 7th place out through turn number 4 and on to the front straightaway. A very clean start then overall in the 3rd and final stage on the night.
Yeah, a very, very clean start indeed. So, Nolan, I got a question for you. Is you're starting, let's put yourself out here, and you're on this track, and we're starting the 3rd stage. What are you doing? Are you actually seeking to get, actually got a little trouble there, that 22 car. Looks like he come discombobulated once again, but maybe able to gather that up. But as we come into this 3rd stage, are you going to be running hard? Are you laying back? What's Nolan doing to get himself in a position to win this thing?
Well, honestly, I push hard all the time. That's my overall race strategy. And I do that because I don't know how to save tires at all. And it usually doesn't go so well for me. Oh, more trouble behind Joseph Causey and Ryan Strong going around. But they managed to survive it. But Ryan Strong getting up hard into the outside wall for Joseph Causey and the number 14 frontline machine. Got loose in turn 2 and then overcorrected going in at almost a head-on angle into the outside wall. It's unfortunate there for Causey, who's going to come down pit road with a meatball flag and race over for the night.
Yeah, Causey has had a hard time. He came out hard and fast early on that 1st stage. He was actually, all the way up front there, if you remember, up until about the time that we had that caution right before the end of that stage. He pitted, took tires. So I think that actually found him finishing some 8th or so in that 1st stage. But yeah, just having a hard time handling that car tonight. And I like you, Nolan, I have no idea of what it means to conserve tires. I mean, I know how to drive one way, and I guess that's the reason why you and I are sitting here side by side instead of being out there nose to tail with these guys.
And so, the battle could find itself on for the race lead as Avery continues to work past John Mullins, and the fight is on for the race lead. Kenny Powell's up the inside of Justin Levine on the back straightaway, and it looks like the number 24 Toyota Camry going to be breaking up and past Levine in the 33 Mustang, and Powell is clear for the race lead, and I don't think Levine's going to be able to cut back to the inside this time to get back by him.
Yeah, but maybe some of that is by design as well. As we still have plenty of laps left in this stage, and the one thing that you got to do is you got to be cognizant of your tires, Nolan, because if you get out there and you run those first 10 laps as hard as you can, wide open, you're going to find yourself a little bit looser at the tail end of this thing, and that's when guys are going to be trying to find those precious hundred thousandths of a second. So looks like we've got another car that's off below the racing surface there as but everything's cleared up, so we continue green flag racing. Now Schaffner looking to the inside of Levine as well, as he's going to try to get by of that Mustang there, driving down on the low side with that 5-0 Camaro.
Trying it, not having much success. Wachinski washing way up the hill. A lot of drivers starting to struggle here in this third stage as Wachinski loses up to another spot. And now you can see Levine and Schaffner still looking to tango. Levine, though, doing a good job of making sure that number 33 checker works. Number 33 frontline Mustang sticks out in front, trying to run down Kenny Powell in his G&G Camry as well. It could be a difficult task with a charging Josh Schaffner right behind him.
Yeah, and you as Powell with Schaffner and Kowalski back there, you're going to want one of these guys. Somebody's got to kind of be the brake on this thing, because who's going to keep you from burning your stuff up? You know what I mean? Somebody's going to have to be the good steward and say, hey, maybe we're going to kill ourselves here. Maybe we should just kind of like conserve. But looks like Josh is just going to keep driving as he's going to put that 5-0 now on the inside of the 2-4, and he's going to be trying to compete for the race lead.
Whoa, how about that for a duck to the inside. 3 wide, contact. Schaffner gets shoved up the track, and Justin Levine forces his way back through to the race lead out of turn number 4. That was a very, very late dive from Levine, and Schaffner was not expected. It turned in on Levine and only damaged himself. And it's still going to be a heads-up fight between Frontline and G&G on the back straightaway, looking to go 3 wide again. Schaffner slides out and looks like he will not be able to compete.
And I think that's exactly what happened to Levine in that 3-3 car. He just slid up the racetrack a little bit. He tried to go down and hug that white line, but sometimes that dump truck just won't let you do it. But him and Powell continue to battle for this race lead. That 3-3 Ford is definitely not wanting to let go, and Powell's not wanting to yield. So these two are continually battling, side by side for the lead, with Kozlowski now coming in there trying to make it a 3-way battle for the lead, with 4th and 5th right behind.
Oh, and it's a big block for Kenny Powell trying to keep Levine at bay. This is just pandemonium at the moment. Kozlowski trying to find the inside of Levine through 3 and 4. These drivers not knowing when to quit here from Atlanta. Just Levine being attacked from all sides, even from in front of him somehow.
Yeah, it's almost like it's the last 5 laps, but we're somewhere right in the middle of this thing. I mean, we still got some 80 laps of racing left, but these guys are just putting on a show for the ages, Nolan.
And I think Levine will now start to back down a little bit in this fight for the race lead, unless Al Kozlowski forces his hand, right? Because I think sooner or later there could be a question of how soon will it be before Kozlowski attacks. Levine doesn't want to take the chance. He ducks to the inside of Powell down out of turn number 4, and Levine clears for the race lead into 1.
And Kozlowski is not going to let him have any time off.
Oh,
and
boy!
He comes making it 3 wide again.
Oh!
Paul's going to slide back over the racetrack. Kozlowski's down. Contact made, but the race continues green.
Contact for the lead between G&G teammates. Al Kozlowski just destroying Powell's brief run on going for the lead, but good news, They've still got Schaffner, who can look to run him down and hold him up until they can close their way back in. And all the while, you could have the guys from 6th back close up as well if it continues this way.
And you said, wow, but I'm going to not do the W-H-I-L-E. I'm going to do the W-I-L-D because that's what these G&G guys are. It's like they are hunting down Levine. I mean, he can't even take a breather because it's G&G, G&G, G&G all night long. These guys have even gone so as to take each other out, Donald. So I just don't think Levine's going to have any company up front, and he's got to be feeling uncomfortable with all this G&G energy around him.
Wachinski looking low. Schaffner's going to cover him off, and it looks like Schaffner wants to have his say on trying to go for the race lead, but he's just so out of control. Schaffner's just so loose at the number 50 Plenish machine. I would honestly bail out and allow somebody like Greg Wachinski to try to have a go at it, right? He could probably get up there and try to slow Justin Levine up, but it's not helping these guys if Schaffner's the one heading them up, but he keeps on getting loose, checking every one of them up.
Yeah, I know, and Wachinski is definitely trying to get his shot at it. It's just amazing that this battle is just raging on like this. These guys are really going at it, and we're still early on into this thing. So hopefully, though, it'll work out, and we'll be able to get some green flag pit stops here.
49 laps estimated is how long they can make it on fuel. Last pit stops were made around lap 67. We're not expecting these drivers coming on in for about another 20 to 30 laps or so before these drivers fully commit to coming on down into pit road to get fuel service. So for now, it looks like the top four are going to be set to run where they are, and everybody so far throughout the field looking like they're starting to split apart into their own little battles. Maybe two cars, but for the most part, it seems to be almost single file processional racing like what we're seeing up here from the lead at the moment.
And these guys up for the lead, they've been doing just that. These guys have been battling nonstop since that green flag flew. So, no, I mean, I don't know if most of them are going to make it for fuel, Nolan. It might be an issue of tires before that. So I think we should look forward to seeing some people kind of actually being forced into short pitting as this thing wears on and their cars start to lose a little bit of control. That's where my money's at. Yeah, this battle for the lead just rages on. Wachinski is just staying pretty much right there with Levine, not giving him any opportunity to even get a break. It's just going to be interesting to see how these guys do start to kind of fall back as that tire degradation will start to show its hand, and just how well guys were actually able to save will actually be indicative, of when and how they pit.
Wachinski going to push up out of turn number 2, and Levine will pull clear of Wachinski around the outside lane, and it does look like this is how it is going to be settled for the time being in the fight for the race lead. So tell you what, as we continue to wait for further developments in this leading pack, why don't we take a ride on board with, once again, Josh Schaffner, and we'll show you what a few laps are like around Atlanta Motor Speedway. Wachinski still trying to make a run of the race lead, but it has not gone so well. He keeps trying and trying now. But every time you would think he's got it, Levine just finds an extra mile an hour like the guys in Fast and Furious do, and they just get into the 17th gear that their cars have.
Yeah, it's okay, though, because he's just going to be the Wachinski that could. All he's got to do is just keep showing his nose in there, and eventually, you know, he might get what he's looking for. Nolan, because he has been the one that has been pestering Levine. He's just pestering him like a little gnat, you know. Levine can't get any space, and that will wear you out. I mean, if you look around the rest of the racetrack, a lot of guys are just having the opportunity to just kind of sit back and battle the track. Levine, not so lucky. I mean, it's been an assault on him since the green flag has flown, but he has fended everyone off up to this point. But Wachinski now looking like he's got a good run on the inside. Is it going to be enough? No, it's still not.
When is it enough, though, right? I mean, this is the thing with that outside lane, and this is why Atlanta has a reputation of being one of the hardest tracks to overtake. Wachinski was as far up to Levine's bumper, just about, that he could possibly be. He went as far down to the inside as he could and pushed out as much as he could, and it still wasn't enough. It is borderline impossible to overtake in Atlanta once you really get the tire set, unless your opponents really make a big mistake.
Yeah, because if you're riding that momentum on that outside line, that Larson line, you know, it's just hard to try to fight that car to get it to turn down on the inside without shoving speed off at the same time. You're just able to carry so much more momentum when you're coming off of 4 as well as coming out of 2.
Wachinski is looking outside, can he actually get, if he can actually get that would be amazing. Alongside, though, in a turn number 1, Wachinski's clear. Could he go for the slide job? Sliding up the track, and he's going to get it. Oh, he's in the wall. Oh, he's going to clip Levine. They both spin down onto the apron. They both save it, and Powell's going to go through to the lead. Unbelievable. Wachinski threw it in hard, but it was a little bit too much. He slammed the outside wall, rebounded into Levine. And Wachinski now down on power with damage. Powell has gotten a free pass of the race lead, but already Levine trying to run him down.
You just have to give me a half a lap so I can try to compose myself.
It really is interesting, shall you say?
I'll let you expound on that one.
I don't have words. I mean, just when you thought this race couldn't kick up into a high gear, it delivers. Just like Thursday night, right? Let's got battles a little bit further down the order since the battle for the lead is, I think, fizzled out, to say is a bit of an understatement. How about the fight for 7th and 6th between Ryan Strong and Don Avery? Looking to work together through the next couple, through turns 1 and 2, and down to the 3 and 4. Avery. So you're seeing Levine now. Avery's been trying the inside. Hasn't really been able to make anything work of it, as Ryan Strong has just been on top of it, keeping him at bay. And now, Levine has caught up to Kenny Powell. He's about to attack once more for the race lead.
Yeah, let's see if this pass goes around any cleaner than that last one did, Nolan. Because it's great that these guys are battling so hard, but you can't risk it for the biscuit like that. Not right now. Even though that might have been a racing incident, that's I don't know.
Oh, this is interesting. Levine just put the clutch in and coasted the car all the way through turn 1. He's opted to do a little bit of fuel saving here. That's a bit of an interesting call for me. I wonder if he's doing that just to make the car rotate a bit more. This is a tactic that you can do. Or if maybe he's wanted to save some fuel, maybe cut his last pit stop a little bit shorter.
Yeah, that's a good point. But, you know, the one thing about it is Levine not really shook up too awfully terrible from that contact with that number 5 car, Wojcinski, because he's actually still posting up pretty consistent fast lap time. So that's good news for that 3-3 team. Maybe they won't have so much beating and banging to do on that thing when they finally do get it on down the pit road. But as for right now, Powell finding himself just to be the recipient of a good faith gesture as the 5 car attempted to take out the 33. Now Powell is your race leader, but that 3-3 car is battling back now, and he's just filling up that 24's rear view camera, if you will.
And so we'll see how much Levine will be able to do. I don't think he's really wanted to go for the lead here at the moment. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I think he just wants to get himself sorted here and just play this one nice and safe close to the belt until he goes for his pit stop. Unless he goes for it this time here in turn 1. No, once again, clutches and coasts, and that's interesting to me, Al, because I can almost guarantee you, knowing Levine, he would have found a way to make that work. He had an easy run. He could have made that stick if he wanted to. He is definitely just opting to save some fuel here.
And this is a different perspective for him now. He can just kind of sit back and maybe set Powell up, and then just kind of enjoy the ride for a little while, because he's been out front and been in that assault mode the whole third stage. So now, Nolan, I think we're getting closer and closer to our pit window. It looks like we got about 50 laps to go in this thing here. Still under green. Everybody's still doing what they need to do. Nolan, I think we should probably step away one more time here before everybody starts getting their green flag pit stops, and that way we'll be able to continue this thing with live coverage.
There are moments that surprise and delight the mind and the senses. Introducing Sound Art, the world's first truly customizable, concealed, flat panel art speaker system. A revolutionary combination of incredible sound delivered from your most meaningful pictures. When art and technology intersect, there is a seamless blend of creativity and function.
Come alive in the streetlight, pulling at the stars in the moonlight. Every time I feel you close.
With Sound Art, anyone can print their own artwork or pick from numerous licensed artwork that we have. The possibilities are limitless. Enjoy beautiful and amazing sound throughout your home. The entire surface of your artwork generates incredibly robust sound. Your art never sounded so good.
Pit stops in full swing. Powell just came on down and in. Don Avery is about to leave. Kozlowski is on pit road. Green is just exiting. Thompson, Levine, Severo, Wojcinski all into pit lane. John Mullins about to enter pit road as well. So pit stops now in full swing as we approach that mark, and it is going to be at the point now, Al, where if you come down, you're good to go till the end on fuel.
Yeah, just a matter of making those tires last, Nolan. I think that's going to be the biggest thing as this continues, because thank goodness we've been able to keep this thing clean and green, and that's the biggest thing. Stage 3 already underway with green flag pit stops. Ladies and gentlemen, you couldn't ask for a better race. Now these guys are going to get back out there, got to get this thing reconstituted, get back up to race pace, race speed, let everything come in and readjust yourselves in the running order and hope that there is not a late race caution.
So let's quickly let things cycle through here for this one lap, and then I want to go over through the whole field so we can kind of get an idea of where everybody's at and where everything has cycled through after those pit stops. So it is currently Justin Levine up there in first. Kenny Powell is going to be in second place. You're going to have the likes of Al Kozlowski down in third. That will put Kyle Green up to fourth. How about that for Kyle Green? 14th place where he started. He's up in the top 5. Gary Addison is 5th with Gray Wojcinski in 6th. Don Avery is 7th with Ryan Strug in 8th. Mullins is still on pit road with Kenny Thompson now in 10th place as well. Just went a lap down, courtesy of Justin Levine. Why don't you take us through the rest of the grid there then, Al?
Yeah, Chris Severino definitely doing what he needed to do. He was actually able to come back out. Now he finds himself 14 laps down in 11th place. That's going to put Austin Derbyshire 16 laps down in 12th place. Josh Schaffner finds himself some 19 laps down in 13th. And then Joseph Causey is done. Robert Pattingill done, and Brooks Dirting done. And that's it for our 16-car field. Looks like we got a good solid 8 cars fighting for that on that lead lap.
And so, as we get set to continue cycling our way through this race, why don't we take a look at what we can kind of look forward to in the second season. Of course, Scott, the next race, which I talked about this on Thursday night race, but I'm not expecting a whole lot to write home about at the Circuit of the Americas. Personally, Al, it's one of those tracks that's good for driving, not so much for racing. It was an F1 track, not really designed with stock car racing in mind. That being said, the whole month of April is something to definitely look forward to, right? We started off at Richmond. Then it is Martinsville, then Bristol Dirt, then Talladega. What a quadruple set of tracks to kick off the second season with. I mean, my goodness, you can't really ask for much more than that.
Yeah, right. You're gonna take us to COTA, right, the Circuit of the Americas, and everybody's just gonna get so like discombobulated because we can turn left and right. That's a big deal here. These cars are pretty good at that. We're getting ready to see that again. But then that's when the excitement happens, because Martinsville, Richmond, Bristol Dirt. We're going to take these things out and put them in the dirt, right? And then Talladega, right? I'm excited, dude. I am so excited.
You got 2 of the biggest wild card tracks on the schedule that are possible. And I mean Bristol Dirt and Talladega. Because Talladega obviously is one of those races where you can win if you just know where to put your car. Bristol Dirt, that's going to favor the dirt drivers, right? That's not going to be something that a whole lot of people might be the best at. The reason why I don't consider Martinsville a wild card track is if you're a good short track racer, Martinsville is going to be a walk in the park, essentially. You just got to avoid getting hit from behind.
Yeah, but I don't think any of these tracks are quote-unquote walks in the park. I mean, these cars still have a drivability about them. Speaking of that, what happened to Schaffner? Do we have any idea of when 5-0 fell off the race pace?
It would be right where he made that major contact, I imagine, with Justin Levine, because he did get some very considerable damage on his number 50 car. A little bit crumpled in on the left front and a little bit worse for wear. But that being said, you are correct that Josh Allen was actually falling back even more than we expected. In fact, oh, hello. I see what you're talking about. He's not even on the racetrack. I didn't even notice that. That flew right over my head. I'm going to check for that right now. Oh, I see. So lap 101, it was a long time ago. We're not even going to bother looking for a replay on that one because this was several minutes ago at this point in time. But Schaffner got loose out of turn number 2, bobbled and went hard into the inside wall. There was no caution for it. And at this point in time, I believe we were taking a ride on board with somebody else, which is why it flew over our heads.
I see.
That is unfortunate for Schaffner. Second race in a row where he's not going to go his way. For Levine, though, go ahead.
Didn't you pick Schaffner to win this thing?
No, I picked Levine, thank goodness. I picked Schaffner to win on Thursday.
I thought I intentionally interrupted you before you could make your pick. I mean, if you roll that beautiful beam footage, you're going to see me intentionally interrupting you. I call that an interception. When I intercepted your pick, and then I called Levine.
I have to be honest. I picked him regardless. I think we both are rooting for the same guy to win at this point in time, right? I mean, he has just been on fire all day. I mean, Levine has just been unstoppable. There's been nothing in his way short of a wild out Kozlowski that threw a 3-wide pass up the inside. That got up into Schaffner and Levine. Sorry, no, it was Wachinski, actually, excuse me, that got into Levine and temporarily cost him the lead. And I want to point out that Levine is running out there in the lead with a damaged race car. He's got some pretty significant right front damage on that car. No doubt not help with the aerodynamic side of things. That might be what's allowing Kenny Powell to steadily close on in.
Which he will subsequently become my pick to win this thing now, since taking my pick. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with that G2 for Kenny Powell. So come on there, Kenny, let's go. Let's get this thing right, because I don't want to interview at the. I do not want to interview Mr. Powell at the end of this. So he has either got to finish first or third.
Quarter of a second between your top two pair. That is the closest battle for a point actual. Wow, okay. Talk about a broken record there. I encountered a bit of a scratch in my disc, it would seem. It's the closest battle for position on the racetrack. Try saying that one 5 times fast.
It's the closest battle for position. 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 I think I did it. I can't count though, so that might have been
That was 4. That was 4. But I'll call that close enough.
Yeah, and so Chris Severa is actually going to find himself in a position to actually crack into the top 10. Now, you remember Severa actually found himself in the pits for a considerable amount of time, but he is actually now clouded back up. He is currently shown in 11th. We find that John Mullins is no longer on the racetrack, which is actually going to allow Severa to actually creep into the top 10. So how about that good news?
Good news for some drivers, bad news for others. Only 9 of the 16 cars that started this race are left there on the racetrack, and almost all of them, save for your top 2, are just running by themselves at the moment. Although Chris Severa in 11th place is actually close to somebody on the racetrack, and a little bit further away than this battle is here, but close nonetheless. It's without Kozlowski, but that's of course not a battle for position, because Severa is a solid 14 laps down. Kozlowski, of course, on the lead lap. And you see Kenny Powell tucking right up there with Just Levine. Going for the inside. Battles on for the race lead. So how is this going to play out then, right? I mean, you got Kenny Powell on the bottom, Levine up top. We've seen it before, though, how hard it is to overtake on the inside line. Wachinski had to already be alongside, almost dead even with the door, in order to even have a chance on making that stick. And he pushed it so hard that he sent himself flying into the outside wall.
Yeah, but if you're looking at Levine's lines, I mean, he is attempting to break up that drive from Powell, not wanting Powell to actually be able to use any advantage from him whatsoever. So he's kind of staying high through 3 and 4. Then he's actually been, for the last couple of laps, been coming down towards the inside. Sorry, high in 1 and 2, coming down towards the inside through 3 and 4, which has been a little bit different than what he was doing. Just interesting to see how that's actually going to play out for him. And also to note, it's a lot easier to do that as well when you've got fresh tires on. Additionally,
so now that we get set to kind of see how this whole thing, now that we're in the final 30 laps or so here, we're starting to see these trends started to form, right? It's once again a fight between the top 2 for the race lead. That is where things are going to be sitting throughout the entirety of the run tonight. And I have to be honest, I think a lot of people kind of saw this coming when you only had like a 16-car grid, right? I mean, you have yourself, it's going to be exciting, it's going to be intense on the restarts. Once you get deeper into the race, action's really going to die off. And I'm not saying that's the fault of the field of 16 cars, right? We've seen some amazing races in the series with even just 10 cars. It's the track, right? It is the fact that this track is so hard to race at. It is one of the most difficult mile and a half of the NASCAR calendar. But these top two are making the most out of it, going side by side every opportunity they could find.
Yeah, Powell's definitely got to be.
Oh, ho, ho! Sorry to cut you off, but you saw how close that got there.
Yeah, that's a little bit too close for comfort. They're almost trading paint there, but Powell's definitely got to be loving the run that he's having here tonight. So if he's actually able to keep that thing clean and green, that'll be good news for him. But like you said, this track it's just a battle. It is so bumpy. It's arduous for the drivers. It takes a toll on them. So to actually be able to come out here and stick it out and make it to the end of this thing is a testament to just perseverance.
So Kenny Powell going to continue to try to work his way around and catch up to Justin Levine. I mean, he doesn't really have to catch up to Justin Levine. He just got to get by him. And this is the mile and a half where Cash's one passes another really rings true. And you see Powell trying to kind of fiddle around with the middle line a little bit. He knows by now that Levine's going to always run the top. Going all the way to the bottom clearly doesn't work unless you want to full throttle it to the halfway point of the corner and try to get yourself a potential slide job going. I wonder if he's going to try to start using the middle line here a little bit more to try to see if he can't wrestle ISCA around the middle course, and that way might be able to carry just enough momentum to actually keep his nose on the inside down the backstretch.
Yeah, because I think maybe Powell's car could just possibly a little bit faster than Levine's with that damage. He was actually able to catch it, but like you said, catching him and passing him, two totally different subjects on this track. But Powell's just probably going to tuck in behind him and just, like I said, wait for Levine to make some sort of mistake. But as Levine is as dialed in and focused as he is, he might be waiting for a while. And interesting to note that Chris Rivera has now found himself up to the 9th position, Nolan.
Found himself up in the 9th place, and that is because Kenny Thompson, of course, retired from this race. And Severa makes up another spot by just being present, right? And that's sometimes what you got to do, right? He might be 14 laps down, but he still is out there on the racetrack because he realizes that a couple of drivers might still drop out and he might still have time to get himself up one more position before the race is over.
Yeah, isn't that awesome? But that's exactly what you have to do. You have to get that car repaired. You have to get out there and turn laps because that's the only way that you're going to gain points. You have to turn laps. We always say this, or I say it, you have to be available at the end of this thing in order to win it. Well, you still got to be out there on the track in order to gain points positions.
Doesn't really matter how far back you are. If somebody's out of the race, that's one more spot you can gain. You're absolutely correct on that one. It might not be fun, but hey, a point's a point. And these championships, especially the regular Cup Series with no playoffs, they can be defined by those smallest margins when it comes to points.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct, and that's exactly the reason why Severa is a champion. Because he understands that, and that's why he's still out there running. Me personally, I hate riding around in a beat-up race car. Once it's wrecked, I'm kind of like, let's just put this thing on the trailer, man, and give me a fresh one so we can start over next week. And I'd blame it on Wachinski or something. Just under 20 laps to go in this thing here at Atlanta, so we can actually get yet another chapter in the books, with this one being the most exciting as this is the first race of our season. So not short of action, not short of excitement, and definitely going to leave a lot to wonder as this season continues on. Like to really thank our sponsors for this thing here tonight too, Dola, with the Tucson Sound Art guys, as well as the Monster Energy thing. It's been an awesome venue and a great race so far.
It's been a great race so far, and not a lot of time left to go as we continue to race it out in the final stage on the night. We'll take one more brief step back for a commercial break, and we'll be back with the final 15 laps or so in a few moments.
There are moments that surprise and delight the mind and the senses. Introducing Sound Art, the world's first truly customizable, concealed, flat panel art speaker system. A revolutionary combination of incredible sound delivered from your most meaningful pictures. When art and technology intersect, there is a seamless blend of creativity and function.
Come alive in the streetlight, pulling at the stars in the moonlight. Every time I feel you close.
With Sound Art, anyone can print their own artwork or pick from numerous licensed artwork that we have. The possibilities are limitless. Enjoy beautiful and amazing sound throughout your home. The entire surface of your artwork generates incredibly robust sound. Your art never sounded so good.
Levine still leads, the gap extending to over a second as of this lap this time by. Kenny Powell still in second place, and from there it is almost another 40 seconds, almost another 4 seconds back to Al Kozlowski in third. See Chris Severa still keeping tight with Kozlowski, but of course Severa 14 laps down. How about we look at 6th and 7th place at the time being Greg Wyszynski and Gary Adamson looking a bit tighter. This towards the back of the field as we hit 13 laps to go.
Yeah, these two guys right here, that definitely is a good battle, Nolan. You are absolutely correct about that. Battling it out for 6th and 7th position. But if you look right there coming around that backside, I think that is Struck that's also going to be trying to find himself into that
Whoa!
And there we go. We got that 5-car Wyszynski sliding on down onto the inside, lost control, which allows Ryan Strunk and Gary Adamson to both advance. And look like Strunk is going to put the 3-6 car in his rearview mirror at this time. So Strunk, right there in that little short period of time that we were actually watching, advances 2 solid positions on the track.
And Gary Adamson continues to try to fight the inside line to carry some momentum up to Ryan Strunk, but it is just not really working for him anymore. The inside line is just about gone in its entirety at this point in time. I mean, it has not been a very optimal line for anybody so far tonight, but especially not this deep into a run. When dirty air is this much of a factor, and when dirty air is this prominent, I mean, I know that these next-gen cars obviously were designed to try to limit dirty air, but you can't eliminate it altogether, right? You can only reduce it.
Yeah, right. And they do a very good job of breaking up that wind profile of aerodynamics of the car, if you will, with that rear diffuser and everything. It's been an exciting car. It's just an awesome thing. I can't wait to see when we actually come back to Atlanta and actually be able to experience that new repaved surface. I think that's going to add for a lot more exciting racing as well. I think it's going to be more on the lines of what we'd see at Daytona or Talladega, but just in a 1.5 mile format.
Under 10 laps left to go. Gary Adamson's starting to sputter out a little bit here. Looks like he is used up just about every last piece of energy that car has gotten left underneath it. Leaving no battles on the course now within a second of each other. The only 2 cars that are within a second are, of course, lap traffic and lead lap traffic. As you can see, Kozlowski and Severa not battling it out. Both drivers just kind of in together's moods here, right? Just wanted to make it to the end in one piece.
Yeah, and Ryan Strunk's definitely going to have to step up his game because he's got the leader kind of closing in on him with 10 to go. That actually might actually find himself a lap down as well. But the 33 car of Justin Levine not leaving anything to the imagination, as he has not only turned every corner, but he's actually didn't leave any stones unturned either, making certain that everyone understands who was the dominant force here at Atlanta, as he not only wins stage 1 but wins stage 2 and has himself lined up to pull off the three-peat. I guess it's not really called it would be a hat trick, but he didn't really score any goals though, right?
I didn't quite score off any goals, but a hat trick nonetheless it would be. He won all 3 stages. Does that count as 3 goals?
It should count for something. Actually going to find himself on top of that leaderboard here for this Tucson Sound Art Season 2, and probably by a pretty comfortable margin.
I want to point out as well that the guy leading the race right now had no official practice laps logged in this official session and did not set a qualifying lap, but has won all stages so far. It clearly has gotten practice done elsewhere.
Yeah, with 5 laps to go, it doesn't look like anyone's going to be able to spoil this for him except for himself.
I mean, that's the only way at this point that he loses this race, is if he really does do something that makes a catastrophic error. I mean, 2.8 seconds clear. I would not want to be the guy that loses a race when you've got 2.8 seconds on the field.
Yeah, but just when you said that, though, he is closer into the 77 car Strunk, and then look right there in front of Strunk is Wachinski. So if he does get next to Wachinski, it could possibly be another misunderstanding. I don't know. That would be a possibility of how this thing would have an unfavorable ending.
3 laps to go overall in this race, as we continue to let things cycle on through, and one by one, drivers continue to take their way around this race and around this circuit, and get set to finish this race off on a quiet note, but a clean note. I don't think that's something that really anybody's going to be complaining about.
No, sir. As he comes around the corner now, we'll be going 2 to go, and let's just try to get this thing in the books, Nolan. Let's try to get every car back around as clean as they possibly can. Should be no issues. Everybody that's under their power should stay under their power. Looks like we're going to have 7 cars on the lead lap. That's a testament of just how dominant of a performance that 33 car has put on here tonight, along with that 24 car of Kenny Powell. These guys have definitely put on a show for us, as the white flag waves over Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Final lap is now in the books, as you can see Gary Adamson getting past Al Kozlowski, once again not for position. Adamson came down and had to pit with a couple of laps to go, went 2 down. And for Levine, coming around through turns 3 and 4, he won both stages, and it is a clean sweep for Levine, who wins the Monster Energy 250 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. One by one, cars will get set to tick across start-finish line. And we will now get set to take a look at your official post-race results once these last 2 cars, Strunk and Wachinski, come across the start-finish line. For now, it is Justin Levine to win the overall race. Kenny Powell in second, with Al Kozlowski in third. Kyle Grin is fourth, John Avery in fifth. Greg Wachinski in sixth, with Ryan Strunk, the last car on the lead lap, down in seventh. Gary Adamson and Chris Severa were the last 2 cars running on the racetrack. Kenny Thompson rounds out the top 10, Al.
That's right. John Mullins, 11th. Austin Derbyshire is going to be in 12th. Josh Stoffner coming in 13th. Joseph Causey in 14th. Robert Pattengill in 15th. And Brooks and Dirty rounds out this 16-car field, Nolan.
And once again, we will see if we can dial up your podium finishes at the end of the night for what was an amazing race. We're going to start from the bottom, work our way up. Al Kozlowski joins us up in the broadcast booth. And Al, a solid third place finish for you. Started in 12th. You'll find yourself at the last step on the podium.
Yeah, I tried to avoid all this melee and mess, and got in a late race fiasco with Kenny Powell, and kind of probably took away my chance to win this thing. But I'm happy with a third.
So how was it for you out there? It would seem like a bit of a quiet race all the way around for a lot of drivers, but you seem to be around lap traffic quite a bit for yourself in that one.
Man, it was a mess because, I mean, this track it goes from hot to cool, and that cool temperatures, the less fuel you run, this thing gets so loose on the rear end, and I just didn't want to get wrecked out. I mean, Thursday was a hot mess, and I still able to finish fourth, surprisingly, with under power. I just wanted to finish this thing clean, and that was my goal tonight. It was just stay in the back, away from everybody, and capitalize on their mistakes, and that's exactly what it looks like ended up happening. I'm happy with a third.
So I know you're not the biggest of fans when it comes to road course racing, so I don't really think I need to ask you what your thoughts are on COTA in Austin, Texas 1 week from now. So I'm going to actually change gears here. How do you think this championship could work out for you for your Saturday night series campaign here?
No, and I actually looked at the schedule, and it kind of scares me because we do have quite a bit of road course tracks coming up here. So I'm just going to have to put on my road course pants and start practicing a lot more on those road courses and just get better at them. That's all I'm going to have to do. So I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see.
Before I let you go then here, Al, anybody you'd like to shout out for that number 88 Chevrolet?
Buddy, I want to thank you guys up at the broadcast booth and everybody that deals with this broadcast, and you guys do a phenomenal job. I enjoy watching it more than once a week. And try to share it as much as I can. I want to thank Kenny for putting on the league. It's enjoyable. All my teammates. This setup came. Actually, Josh Schaffner had made this for me, and it absolutely is phenomenal. I'm probably going to run it in the NIS, and I want to go ahead and promote SpeedwayAngels.com, and everybody go there and check that out. And thanks for tonight.
That was Al Kozlowski joining us from third place on the grid. Kenny Powell will now join us up at the broadcast booth for second place. And I'll pass this one down to you, Mr. Dixon.
Hey, Kenny Powell, this is Big Al up in the booth. You got me?
I got you.
Hey, starting to become a recurring theme here with you and me talking to each other on Saturday nights. But before we get started, just want to take you back to that stage one, the end of stage one when the caution comes out. You ducked down, but elected to stay out on the surface and had a heck of a race there. Photo finish against Levine. What were your thoughts and your decision making in that?
Yeah, I had decided on that one that I wasn't going to pit, but I sold the heck out of pitting to see if I could get those top two guys to pit. And I don't know if they would have pitted if I had just stayed on the track and let them know I wasn't going to pit. So I don't know if I faked them out or not, but yeah, my idea was to stay on the track and see if I could get that stage one win. I was so close, and man, hate I didn't get it.
Well, you had a strong showing here again, like always. So as we get ready to go into COTA next week, what are your thoughts going into that race?
I got to work at the road courses. I'm not that good when I first get on it, but if I put my mind to it, I normally can come up with a good set and get a decent solid run. I'm probably not going to be the winner there. It would surprise me if I win it, but I should have a good showing there.
Well, that's awesome, man, because every week we're looking forward to seeing that 2.4 gas and go Camry. Before I let you go, anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, Tucson Sound Art for helping me put this thing on. Definitely couldn't do it without them, so I appreciate them. You guys, Nolan, Al, Rob, couldn't do it without you guys either. And then my race team, G&G Racing, got a great set this week. We all worked on it back and forth, and I was happy with the ride this week. So go G&G.
Go G&G is right. Another outstanding performance. Mr. Powell, have a good evening, and thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you, Al.
And that'll move us on down to the final driver, but it is the one that, of course, won it all. Levine takes both stage wins and the race at the end of the night. Justin, pretty quiet final stage for you there. For the most part, you're just kind of running by yourself. How was it?
It's definitely a nail biter. I knew I had to save some fuel, so I started backing up my corners, hoping that I can keep Kenny at bay, and I saved just enough by the time he started saving fuel that I was just able to maintain all the way towards the end.
And overall, you talked about how Atlanta was one of the tracks that just chews up tires. What would you say were some of the other challenges that you had to conquer in order to win tonight's race?
Definitely staying patient and running the same line every single time. If you overdrove the corner, you felt it. The car just didn't drive the same. As soon as those tires heated up, you honestly killed your run. And just being patient when all the G&G guys were racing hard with me, I just had to make sure I kept hitting that mark and didn't overdrive the tires.
So when we get set to go racing in Austin, Texas in just 1 week at Circuit of the Americas, what do you think you'll be able to do to get yourself a potential second race win over at over in COTA?
Oh man, I'm gonna need all the practice in the world for that track. I never ran it on the sim. Unfortunately, I just haven't figured out how to run a stock car on or the next gen road courses yet. But I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try my hardest. Definitely gonna be working on it hard this week.
Before I let you go, then here, Justin, anybody you'd like to shout out once again for that number 33 machine?
Yeah, shout out to you guys. You guys do such an awesome broadcast. I love going back watching it every week. Gotta thank Kenny for putting this on for us. He does such an amazing job. And everyone at Frontline building this car. This car was absolutely awesome.
And thank you for joining us then here tonight, Justin. Thank you once again for joining us up at the broadcast booth. Best of luck next week in COTA.
Thank you. Have a good night.
And that will just about do it for us then here for the ISCA Stock Car Association Tucson Sound Art Cup Series. My name is Benola Rambo, along with Alfonso Nixon at the broadcast booth and Rob Melton behind the cameras for tonight's presentation. Want to thank all of our viewers for joining us once again for more ISCA racing action. We'll see you next week when we go road course racing in Austin.